Martin Luther King Jr. was more than a leader, he was the voice of a generation yearning for justice, a symbol of courage, and a beacon of hope for millions worldwide. But who was the man behind the dream? Born on January 15, 1929, in Atlanta, Georgia, Martin Luther King Jr. was originally named Michael Luther King Jr. His father, Reverend Martin Luther King Sr., was a minister and an activist, and his mother, Alberta Williams King, instilled in him a deep sense of faith and morality. Young Martin was a gifted student, skipping 2 grades and enrolling at Morehouse College at just 15 years old. While at Morehouse, King was mentored by Dr. Benjamin E. Mays, a theologian and outspoken advocate for racial equality. This mentorship planted the seeds for Martin's lifelong dedication to justice. Did you know that young Martin initially had doubts about religion? These doubts would later evolve into a profound faith that guided his philosophy of nonviolence and justice. His early skepticism gave him a unique perspective on faith, making him relatable to both believers and skeptics. Although initially skeptical of Christianity, Martin embraced his faith during his time at Morehouse and later earned his doctorate in theology from Boston University. It was here he met Coretta Scott, an aspiring singer who became his partner in life and in the fight for equality. They married in 1953 and had 4 children. Coretta Scott King once said, "Martin and I shared a dream, not just for our children, but for the world." Together, they were a force for change. Coretta was not just a supportive partner, she was an activist in her own right, championing women's rights and working tirelessly to preserve Martin's legacy after his assassination. She played a pivotal role in establishing Martin Luther King Jr. Day as a national holiday. Martin's leadership was thrust into the national spotlight in 1955 when Rosa Parks was arrested for refusing to give up her bus seat. Chosen to lead the Montgomery bus boycott, King's nonviolent resistance inspired a movement that culminated in the U.S. Supreme Court declaring bus segregation unconstitutional. The 381-day boycott wasn't just a test of endurance, it was a testament to the power of unity and peaceful protest. King's house was bombed, and he faced death threats, but he remained steadfast. Few know that the boycott's success relied heavily on the community's collective effort, including the organization of carpool systems and alternative transportation methods, often led by women in the community. Building on this momentum, King co-founded the Southern Christian Leadership Conference in 1957 to unite civil rights groups across the country. Inspired by Mahatma Gandhi, he emphasized nonviolence, sit-ins, and boycotts as tools for change. The SCLC became a driving force behind landmark events like the Birmingham Campaign, which brought national attention to the harsh realities of segregation through powerful imagery of peaceful protesters facing violence. Did you know that King often referred to the SCLC as a coalition of conscience, highlighting its role in bridging gaps between various civil rights organizations and religious groups? One of Martin's most iconic moments came on August 28, 1963, when he delivered the historic, "I Have a Dream" speech at the Lincoln Memorial. Speaking to a crowd of 250,000 people, he painted a vision of a future where all people are judged by their character, not their skin color. This speech became a rallying cry for the civil rights movement and cemented King's legacy as a voice of hope. King's journey was fraught with danger. His home was bombed, he was stabbed, and he was arrested more than 20 times. In 1965, during the Selma to Montgomery marches, protesters faced brutal violence, but King's resolve never wavered. His activism led to the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Despite the dangers, King's ability to maintain composure and faith under pressure inspired countless others to join the movement. His philosophy of meeting hate with love remains a cornerstone of peaceful activism. By the late 1960s, King expanded his focus to combat poverty and militarism. He openly criticized the Vietnam War and advocated for economic justice, believing that true equality extended beyond racial lines. King's Poor People's Campaign sought to unite people of all races in a fight against economic inequality. He envisioned an America where wealth was distributed more fairly, emphasizing the moral responsibility of a nation to care for its most vulnerable citizens. On April 4, 1968, tragedy struck. While in Memphis to support sanitation workers, King was assassinated on the balcony of the Lorraine Motel. His death was a devastating blow, but his legacy only grew stronger. James Earl Ray, the man convicted of King's assassination, sparked controversy and conspiracy theories that linger to this day. Many believe the full story of King's death has yet to be uncovered. Today, Martin Luther King Jr. is celebrated as a national hero. His vision of equality continues to inspire movements worldwide. In 1983, President Reagan signed a law declaring the third Monday of January as Martin Luther King Jr. Day, honoring his dream of a better, fairer world. King's impact transcends borders. His philosophy has influenced global leaders like Nelson Mandela and movements such as India's fight against caste discrimination. Martin Luther King Jr.'s life reminds us that one person's courage and conviction can change the course of history. His dream lives on, calling each of us to stand for justice, equality, and love. Thank you for watching. If you believe in the power of Dr. King's message, like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share it to spread his dream far and wide.